we introduce you?
Please introduce me. That gives me a second to collect my nerves.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Okay. Well,
I'm here. I happily can introduce Joannes. And note that
I can't talk. It's all starting.
I've muted you, Alan. Yeah, so thanks to Joannes for coming and presenting his work on Future Human. Joannes was the winner of the 2022 New Media Writing Prize, so we're delighted to have him here this year to talk about his work and to even judge the prize this year, which gives me a chance to remind everyone that the awards evening is tomorrow night, where you will see more from Joannes. So take it away. I will let you carry forth with your artist talk. Thank you very much. Dina, you were saying you were introducing Joannes.
I am indeed. I'm simply just reading from the Future Human exhibit site, but to develop its global research profile, the University of Kent is engaged in 3 signature research themes that reflect ongoing research and innovation activities across disciplinary borders. One of these research teams is called Future Humans, which aims to create a broad and interdisciplinary understanding of the opportunities, limits, challenges, and risks of using science and technology to overcome the limits of our bodies and to restore and improve performance and function. And as part of Future Human, Joannes is working with a team of 4 researchers at the University of Kent to develop a public resource to stimulate both scientific and media literacy around the future of quantum computing, especially following the claim that quantum supremacy has been achieved. We're in the early stage, or they're in the early stages of developing a video game to instill a more critical sense of what this quantum supremacy entails, specifically the claim that it is inevitable and it is desirable for humanity, and to collectively liberate alternative and emancipatory technologies and practices. So this game that they're developing will take the form of an online text adventure that players can navigate to develop both scientific literacy about quantum computing, as well as media literacy about how competing discourses define, frame, and sell this technology. And hopefully, if we can't get it now, we can get it later, a prototype of this game to the Unconference and the research behind it. So,
just for those who were just admitted, we're only on audio at the moment because Joannes is having difficulty connecting, and Joannes is the guest speaker at the moment. So we're waiting for him to be able to connect in. Dina, do you want to perhaps share screen while we're waiting for Joannes to reconnect and show Joannes's work in the exhibition space?
This is Joannes's work in the exhibition space. And I personally love neurocracy. I've seen this. Are you guys seeing my screen at all?
Yep. This is last year's New Media Writing Prize winner.
Yes. And he's basically got this 2049 Omnipedia. And I'm going to accept all cookies because why not? But you get a featured article and then you get a mystery story within this. And I don't know, actually, this would be an interesting thing for Extine to explore. What happens when you donate now? Who knows? But you get these beautiful pop-ups, and I can put this link also in the chat. So everybody, there is the exhibit space, and so I put that exhibit space link in here. So yeah, let's see where I'm all of these things are. But yeah, everybody has an exhibit space in the digital literature, and I am waiting for the announcements of the Bournemouth Prize to create that link as well. So,
We've
Are
got
we-
you on back.
oh, good. We're back on.
So far, so good. Let me see if I can now share my
Okay, I will
screen.
stop sharing. Excellent.
Thank you for your patience, everybody.
All right, ready to go.
Whew. So, hi, everybody, and thank you so much again for your patience and for being part of this Unconference artist talk on Future Human, which is the theme of a really cool academic project that I'm working on with some really cool people, some of whom are here with me today. And I'll be telling you more about it in this presentation. Slide, please. Let me first introduce myself. I'm Joannes Truyens, a game writer and narrative designer. That's me and my Schrodinger's cat right there. I'm best known for peaking early with the development of the sci-fi wiki game Neurocracy, which invites you to dive into the Wikipedia of the year 2049 and solve a murder by finding clues in the various articles. And it's because of that game that I got involved with this academic project. But before I delve deeper into that, allow me to play this little clip from a show called Futurama. Next slide, please.
And it's a dead heat. They're checking the electron microscope, and the winner is number 3 in a quantum finish.
No fair! You change the outcome by measuring it.
Next slide, please. So yes, our project deals with quantum physics, and that was just one hilarious example of quantum physics being depicted in fiction. And while I have you all here, I want to ask you, can anyone think of other examples of fiction that includes quantum physics, like books, movies, games, TV shows, comics, anything goes?
Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap is an excellent example. It's even in the title. And then did you feel like you learned something about quantum physics from that, or was it more included for entertainment purposes?
I think it prompted a deep fascination with parallel worlds theory.
That is indeed a very popular application of quantum physics in fiction, parallel universes, parallel worlds. Any other examples from anyone? I gather from the silence that quantum physics is not the easiest field for a non-expert to navigate.
Right, I just put in the Wikipedia link just to cheat.
Fringe,
So there look like a lot of lists to fear. Fiction in the quantum universe. Okay.
Fringe works with quantum physics too, doesn't it? The TV show?
Yep, that's like I have here the example of Ant-Man and the Wasp, the upcoming Marvel movie Quantum Mania, which depicts a quantum realm, but in this case it's again more for entertainment purposes, where quantum is being used as an excuse to create parallel worlds rather than digging in the science of it all. Next slide, please. So what we're trying to do with our project is this part of the Future Human Signature Research Team at the University of Kent. And the focus of this research is on the potential uses of technology, tools, and techniques in human development in both the near and the far future. The purpose is to work across disciplinary boundaries to create interdisciplinary understandings of the opportunities, limits, challenges, and risks of using science and technology to overcome the limits of our bodies. Slide, please. 4 lecturers at the University of Kent came together to submit a proposal for this research team on quantum computation. They were interested in how Google and NASA scientists claimed in 2019 to have reached quantum supremacy. Their quantum computer had found solutions unachievable for any classical computer, even for the most powerful supercomputer. Slide. But there's like 4 different little animations on this slide if you click next. But there are many conflicting discourses, both in the scientific community and among the public, about what this quantum supremacy means. and what it might achieve in the future, like a utopia, apocalypse, or something less dramatic. Our project seeks to make sense of who makes these claims and why, and to develop critical literacy about them in the public. Slide. Some of the research questions are: what discourses characterize public understanding of the nature of quantum computing and its impact? Who are the agents and actors that develop, propagate, and benefit from these discourses? And how can critical digital citizenship with respect to these discourses be developed? Slide. The initial plan from our 4 lectures was to develop a choose your own adventure game where you navigate a place to reach one of many possible endings. The use of games as an accessible method of education and engagement is an emerging topic within academia and beyond, since games afford the opportunity to fully explore and develop knowledge. Additionally, the interactivity and nonlinearity of games underscore several key concepts of quantum computing: superposition, interference, and measurement. It takes multiple playthroughs to experience all options presented to the player, and choosing one can eliminate all others during a single playthrough, not unlike quantum logic. So thankfully, our 4 academics graciously thought of neurocracy when they were trying to make this game, which is also couched in actual science and social politics, like hard science fiction. It makes sure that the science is accurate, unless the stories spin out from that, so it can also serve as an educational purpose. I suggested a similar approach, and ultimately we decided to create a text adventure set in the near future where a fictional tech company has monopolized the market for a quantum internet. Slide. QNet is designed to satirize tech companies that dominate specific markets to the detriment of consumers, such as Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Casting QNet as an immoral monopoly for this game also opens up related themes of privatization, misinformation, mass surveillance, and neoliberal capitalism, all of which come into play when discussing a topic like quantum computing and its societal impacts. We chose quantum internet as the application of quantum computing because it maintains a degree of realism and technical accuracy while forming a locus to integrate on the 4 key discourses which the game intends to examine: corporate, scientific, political, and public discourses. Slide. The corporate discourses are more about what companies like Google, IBM, and others are saying, publishing landmark claims which are more marketing buzzwords than anything truly scientific. Slide. The political discourse is spread across the public discourse is spread across 2 themes that dominate the discussions on Reddit, mostly about security, cryptography, how quantum computation might disrupt online security, and also linked to finance, particularly to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Slide. And the political discourses, we have found a couple of themes that keep coming back, more about economic growth, defense, defending against cyber attacks and creating cyber power, and social benefits, broad but vague claims regarding widespread social change, and the potential to revolutionize everything from the way we travel to the way we shop. Slide. The idea that I came up with when I was contacted by our 4 lecturers was to create a text adventure played through the narrative device of a simulated corporate email client that the player can navigate. And then you progress the story by handling customer complaints and communicating with QNet colleagues and management. So as part of the fiction of this game, you would play on the role of a newly hired contractor at QNet, tasked with processing customer complaints about their quantum internet subscriptions. The nature of these complaints will be based on our ongoing research into potential misconceptions and misuses of quantum computing, allowing us to directly communicate our research findings to the player while keeping them immersed in the fiction of the game. We have created a trailer for this game. That's the next slide, but I found that it doesn't really work there, so I'm just going to... Sorry, it does work. So that's the trailer that we have created on a very shoestring budget to communicate the concept of our game. Thank you. So that's the trailer that we came up with, and I see that Dina has already asked if complaints in quantum computing depend on who sees the complaints, and actually they do, because as the trailer already teased, we are also introducing a sci-fi mystery, next slide, a sci-fi mystery to the game, where we want to communicate and we want to stimulate the player's curiosity about actual principles of quantum mechanics, specifically the wave function collapse, which was already communicated by that Futurama joke, where multiple states of a thing exist until it is observed, after which it collapses into a single state. This sci-fi mystery will be communicated in the game by duplicate emails showing up. Players who investigate these emails will find that they start to show subtle differences, first in the wording, but then in the lives of those who send them. And depending on which ones you pursue, those will be collapsed. So observation of this email will collapse it into a single reality. And across the game, it will gradually become clear that these are not duplicate emails. They are, in fact, coming from alternate realities that are no longer being collapsed because QNet, being the immoral monopoly that it is ignoring the potential dangers of using quantum technology for its internet infrastructure. So I've had to sort of rush through this presentation, but I wanted to leave a little bit at the end for audience questions and feedback. So next slide. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm so sorry that it had to be rushed like this, but I'm glad we got to the end of it. Whew.
Thank you so much. I am also glad you got to the end of it.
Yeah,
Not that you got to the end of it, but that you got to present it.
Oh yeah, it all worked out in the end. So excuse me for rushing through it. But so if anybody has any questions or suggestions or things they would like to see in this game, please. I think we have like 5 minutes left.
Can I ask what tool you're using to build it?
We're going to use Twine as a freely accessible resource, and we're going to use as modifications to make it work, look, and function like an email client.
There's a very similar existing piece of ELIT, which I don't know if you all explored this, but where you're a complaints handler at a company. Do you know the work that I'm talking about?
Is it called Grayscale?
It might be.
Yeah, but that
not good with titles.
That has a similar approach, but it's more about sexual practices in the workplace, and you having, as a HR manager, having to deal with that.
Yeah, I think the sort of the email novel has taken various different iterations, but I like this, and then reflections of Severance as well. I don't know if you've seen the TV show where they're kind of widget crunchers.
Exactly, but using the email format in the context of a game about quantum physics enables sort of story and gameplay to be married at the foundational level, because these emails start duplicating, and that's then part of the mystery that you have to figure out, like, why are these emails duplicating? And eventually you figure out that it's part of the quantum infrastructure that this QNet company is using. And using a mystery tends to involve the player closely as they search for answers, and that's sort of the hook that we can use to then educate them about quantum physics, which is also what my approach with neurocracy that I use. So I can apply it here as well.
So how has your team integrated that science expertise with the sort of narrative design and game aspects that in communicating it?
Well, that is an ongoing process. I think we actually have our resident quantum science expert here. I think maybe if they want to take this question, I'm not sure if they're still here. Bruno?
I do see Bruno on the, there we go.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to start on the video, but it says that I can't.
Oops, we'll re-enable that.
So I mean, it was just to say hi as well. But so basically, I guess we've been doing this in different stages. So even the very early idea of introducing an element of interactivity in which the player. Oh, here we are. Hello. Greetings from the University of Kent. So as I was saying, I think it came into different stages. At the very beginning of the Future Human Centipede, we gathered up together and we discussed ideas from different perspectives. And so the whole point was that given some doubts that are present in the scientific community about the way that quantum physics and especially the impact of quantum technologies is presented to the public, how can we transfer this into an effective way of learning, basically, for people that are non-expert? So I guess we are proceeding, as I was saying, in different levels. And at the moment, we are, I think Joannes already summarized the main point, which is to have in the way the game is developed, some simple and fundamental and yet very important ideas that are about the collapsatory function. So meaning, in a sense, trying to reflect about the way our thought processes themselves can understand something which seems complex for the real world, for objects, but that we have an intuitive understanding of because we can think about it in terms of a story that we can experience. So I don't know if that answers fully the question, but at the moment, as you know, we are in a prototype level. So even in terms of implementation where the physics and the maths are taking part into a game, we are at the prototype stage, and we are also here to collect ideas and what people might think that it could be easier to grasp with respect to their common knowledge or what they might already know about quantum physics from general knowledge.
Great. Alan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wonder if you're taking into account hacking, because hacking would be extraordinarily interesting, I think, because you would have multiple chains that might proceed out of one email. And it'd be interesting to see how a contradiction would work in that situation also.
Yes, that is definitely a theme that comes back, especially in the public discourses that we are researching. Crypto and security and cybersecurity is a theme that comes back, and whether quantum computing will enable all existing cryptography to be broken. And that is a theme that has recurred. So that's where we'll be implementing it in the game as well in different ways.
Yeah.
Yaka or Annie, do either one of you have comments or questions? I see Annie's posting in the chat and Yaka has appeared on my screen.
Well, not at the moment. I find it very interesting, but I don't have any question right now.
Grand. Annie,
I
do you want to talk?
I just noticed it's happening in 2035, and I have a project happening in 2026. That's like a nice coincidence. We should synchronize.
One of the reasons why we went for that date is that 1935 is considered to be the time by which quantum physics as we know it was sort of established. So it was to set a sort of a deadline of a century after, especially because scientists are claiming that we're not far from the so-called second quantum revolution. And so this 2035 has this sort of symbolic meaning.
Fascinating. This is right up my street. You know, I love combining science and interactive narrative. So I'm really excited for this. Sci-fi is my jam. And
Thank you.
and I love seeing what y'all are doing and really combining teams to do this, not just saying, oh, everyone can communicate. I will, and getting people who are good at the different things that they do and working together, which I think is brilliant for the communication of science and health topics. And so I'm really excited to see this. And I like Joannes's work, obviously. and so it'll be great to see how the science works in this for my own work, because it's a constant tension of, how much do you put in? I mean, we are all sort of used to the Michael Crichton of it all, which was, you would have chapters and chapters of how the science worked, which for anyone that really loves the science was great and educational, but for a lot of others, maybe it was a skip ahead chapter. And so it's interesting to see how we can explore this in digital media. Grant, any other questions, comments? Feel free to use the chat, to use the Discord, and the Miro board as well. I was sharing screen with the slides, and apologies for continuing to autoplay the videos every time I clicked. But I will go through the chat and add in the links to our Miro board so that we have them. And I think Dina was probably already doing that as well. So they will all be recorded on our Miro board. Fab. So thank you very much to Joannes and Bruno as well.
Oh, thank you all so much for your kind attention and wonderful questions. It really was a pleasure to be here. And again, I apologize for all the technical issues.
Yeah, thank you very much. I wanted to acknowledge also Mark Hill, who's here with us as well, and Dieter de Klerk and Ben Turner, who are the other academics contributing to this.
Absolutely.
Very
Thank you
important.
all, and we will eagerly look forward to the outcomes of the project.
Oh, thank you so much.
Brilliant.